One of the most difficult stages of growth is reaching the age where you can recognize that something is unfair, but not yet having enough experience to understand why it exists. You know, you can feel the pain of injustice long before you can comprehend the countless forces that create it. Now, this gap between emotional awareness and deeper understanding, it often becomes a source of frustration, anger, and confusion. As children and young adults, our sense of fairness is often simple and direct. We see suffering and we'll ask, why does this happen? We see inequality and ask, why doesn't someone fix it? We witness betrayal, corruption, poverty, conflict, or discrimination, and instinctively know that something is wrong. What we often cannot see are the layers beneath the surface. Every injustice is usually connected to history, culture, economics, politics, psychology, family systems, and countless human decisions stretching across generations. What appears simple from a distance is often a tangled web of causes and consequences. You know. Now, that does not mean that injustice is justified. It means reality is often more complex than our first emotional reaction allows us to see. You know, wisdom begins when we learn to hold two truths at once. Something can be wrong and its causes can be complicated. Psychologically, human beings are wired to react emotionally to unfairness. This sensitivity helps us protect ourselves and maintain social cooperation. However, emotional awareness develops earlier than systems thinking. As a result, people often experience outrage before understanding. The mind seeks simple explanations because complexity requires patience and maturity. As we grow, we learn that most societal and personal problems are rarely caused by a single villain or even a single event. They emerge from multiple interacting forces. You know, maturity is not losing your sense of justice. It is gaining the ability to understand complexity without abandoning compassion. Spiritually, this realization marks a transition from judgment to understanding. Many people begin life dividing the world into good and bad, right and wrong. Over time, they discover that human behavior is often shaped by wounds, conditioning, fear, survival, and unconscious patterns. You know, again, don't get me wrong. This does not excuse harmful actions, but it invites deeper awareness. The spiritual path often involves seeing beyond appearances and recognizing the interconnected forces influencing human experience. You know, compassion grows when understanding deepens. In short, you may be old enough to feel the injustice of things long before you are old enough to understand all the forces that create them. Emotions often arrive before wisdom. Understanding requires looking beneath the surface of events. You know. So the challenge is not to lose your outrage at injustice, but to combine it with the patience and insight that is needed to understand reality in all its complexity. True wisdom is not choosing between justice and understanding. It is learning to carry both. You know, my people, hail.